everyone. Welcome back to the Cryptologic podcast. I have another great video or audio another great audio podcast for you guys today. We have a special guest in the building. He goes by the name on TikTok as Investedinlife. Let me pull up his TikTok. He has 47,500 followers on TikTok. And look at him. He's in a helicopter or a plane. Look at that. I need to ask you about that. He goes by the name of Mason. This is welcome to the podcast. I'm grateful and honored to have you on. How you doing today?
I'm great. I just got out of bed a little bit ago. We were talking about that, but just excited to be here and get a little bit from you and share my story a little bit too. So
awesome. So in your name, Investedinlife, I like that name. How did you come up with that name? Invested, like you just focus on life or something? Like, is that like your?
Yeah. So so I started my TikTok channel first about, I'd say 9 or 10 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get a little more into that later. But yeah, I started my channel. I didn't know what to go by, and a lot of people. I think a lot of people pick their niche out a little early, and they say like. I don't know, like Mason's fitness page or something like that. And for me, I didn't know what I liked. I liked finance. I liked kind of self-improvement. And I don't know, just kind of put a name together and it wasn't taken. So I signed up with it.
That's cool. And I see here it says you're a pilot in training. So that's something that you're doing on the side that you're trying to become. Is that like a passion of yours, to a career choice, or just a side hobby? Or
So yeah, right out of the gate, out of high school, I went to college. I didn't know what I wanted to study. And I was like, well, that looks kind of fun. So I knew nothing about airplanes. I started doing it and I really love it. So I'm studying aviation. I'm a full-time student and
Wow.
I'm actually getting a commercial pilot's license now. So
That's
it's been a
awesome.
long journey.
So you said you're into you're in finance, right? And
Yeah.
is that how did you gravitate towards crypto? Were you like, in regards to finance, were you like in the banking side? Were you part of the investment side? What is it, the financial advising side, or what side of the finance were you in? And then how did you pull into crypto? How did crypto get you into
Yeah.
it? How did you get into crypto?
No, great question. So I would say I've been involved in finance for like 2 years. And the very first thing I want to say is, like, obviously I'm not an expert. I'm not, there are plenty of people that are more knowledgeable than myself. But I like sharing my own finance journey because I think a lot of people out there, aren't as transparent as they, as you should be with
Yeah.
finance. Money and all that's a tough subject to talk about. And some people, hide their portfolio, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you, the more like walls you build up between each other, the little more lost you can feel, like, especially if you're new in investing, you don't understand this, you don't understand that. And everyone says, oh, just pick up a book. Oh, and that's great, and you get a lot out of that.
Tony Robbins or something, Grant
Yeah.
Cardone book or something.
Yeah. And like, I picked up The Intelligent Investor. It's on my shelf over there. 600-page book. I read 6 pages of it and I was like, nope, I can't do this. So I just like to share my journey and hope someone gets something out of it. Just real quick though, for crypto. So funny story. I used to work at a Costco and it was a job. It wasn't my favorite. But there was a good friend of mine that worked with me named Jagger, and he was trying to like sell me Bitcoin in the way that, like,
What year was this?
in the way that, this was last summer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't even been in crypto in a year, but it was last, I want to say June.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's like, yeah, man, have you heard of, I don't even remember what he said, Ethereum. And I don't remember at the time, but in my head, I was like, this guy's a phony. Why doesn't he just put all his money in the S&P 500 and forget about it? So, but I was wrong. I listened to a couple podcasts and fell in love with the whole field. So, and now I'm here somehow.
Yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of people always end up saying, like, I'm here, like I'm here, because you just gravitate towards it, and then you just get like, whoa, like that. I feel like that's like, it resonates with a lot of people because you find crypto whether it may be Dogecoin. A lot of people found Dogecoin and gravitated towards that, and they obviously there's 2 paths. they get stuck on the meme hype and they'll forever be meme hunting and green candle chasing, or they go, wait a minute, if this with no utility is doing really good, imagine what projects with good utility are going to become in the future. And people pivot and then they go this way. It's like, I feel like there's like always a fork in the road. And that was me. No. Like I got in through Dogecoin and I was like, wait a minute. Like, you're telling me this token does absolutely nothing and people are going crazy over this? Yeah. Okay, where are the ones that actually do some good stuff, right? And obviously, like, everyone knew Bitcoin. I mean, it's been around since 2009. I'm pretty sure people have heard of it. But, like, for me, I always thought Bitcoin was, like, in 2015, I saw it in the movie Dope. The movie Dope, where they sold stuff and then they got the funds via Bitcoin. And they did that through the dark web. Like, so I associated Bitcoin with the dark web where, people were buying guns, drugs. Like, I thought it was like bad stuff. And I was like, oh man, I want to do that. But like to invest in that currency, but it's like, man, I'm getting in trouble for that. So I never gave it full attention until when Dogecoin blew up. That's when I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, something's brewing. Something's brewing. And I got to focus now. And I was going to say, you were like, reading, like, you got into finance, or you were into finance, you read some books, like some pages of books, and said, you know what, I could just do this on my own, right?
I'll tell you in the meantime, while you're thinking about that, something that is interesting to me about finance, and this will be this is gonna be a hot take, but I, for like over a year, I read, I watched these YouTube videos, I read these articles, I did all of the educational stuff, and in my own opinion, I never found a way, and I don't think there's a way. If you know, let me know, but I never found a way to like consistently beat just putting your money in an index fund. So like, I mean, I could try options trading and blow up my account, and I tried that. Everyone tries leverage trading at some point, but crypto just seems like it's such a new space that I think outside of putting your money in index funds, this is the only way that you're going to grow an account more than like 8 to 10%, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like consistently. Yeah. And I could be wrong, and I would love to hear, what other people have to say, but crypto is just such a revolutionary technology that it seems more obviously volatile and just like a better opportunity. Yeah. So
I just wrote it down. You made me remember the opportunity, and I was saying, because and I agree with everything that you said, and this is gonna like tie into that. When you said you spoke to the guy, your friend at Costco, and he was like, hey, this Bitcoin thing, you gotta get into crypto, and you're like most people. What are you talking about? What is this? What is this? It's not even real money. Like, you don't most people don't understand the technology. Like, they don't understand the blockchain. They don't understand in the beginning. And once you do, you never look back. Yeah. And I'm like, everyone has that experience. I'm telling you, like, I've spoken to that guy in crypto. Once they take it serious, and I always say respect the space, like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, of a generation, because the last time we had something like this was like over like 25 years ago with the internet. And then maybe social media. Maybe social media, if you were early enough to be one of those pioneers to just start recording and start making content, right? Vine, and then Instagram videos came out. If you were early enough to start making video and showcasing who you are as a person, you were able to monetize yourself. And then today, you'd probably have a platform and a lot of followers, etc. And that's what I see going on with TikTok. TikTok has provided people an opportunity to showcase their music skills, their acting skills, their comedic skills, their knowledge in anything, in cooking, finance, gym, right? And crypto is a part of that early legacy of, I was in it 10 years from now, like, man, I'm so thankful that I got into crypto, because instead of like today where people are just using Instagram just to showcase their life or whatever, they're not making money off of it. People are literally making money off of Instagram, but now it's like so hard to do because you have so much competition. TikTok is that opportunity to do so. And that's why it's literally the same with crypto. And like crypto and TikTok.
For sure.
Like, it's like weird how to place it. So crypto is an early opportunity to maximize your wealth or whatever the case may be. and knowledge. TikTok is a platform that allows you to maximize your growth and reach. So putting those two together, it's like what? It's like it's like an indestructible, armor, because you got to utilize them both. Because TikTok will allow you to reach, and if you have great knowledge in anything, in this particular case, crypto, if you're able to dissect it and break it down and explain it in a way where someone like resonates with you, you got a golden ticket. You just gotta stay, like, as long as you just document what you're just literally documenting what you're doing. You're documenting what you're trading, what you're doing. Oh, I bought this crypto 2 months ago and now I blew up. I made a video about it 2 months ago. If you guys watched me, you guys would have been a part of it.
Yeah.
And not financial advice, and I feel like a lot of people are realizing that. Obviously there's people that do the negative side where it's like the meme coins, the next 1,000x, next 100x. And that was an era, right? Like last year where people were doing that like crazy and people getting wrecked left and right. But they're
for sure.
And it's like, we're like one of the ones that actually, hey, we're giving you knowledge. Like, shout out to Crypto Aaron. We talked about it on the podcast. There's people out there that are providing real value, real work, real research, and the views aren't there. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, those are the people that will be left standing. Like, what do you think about that in regards of value versus hype and likes and clicks and stuff?
Yeah.
That was a mouthful.
No, yeah.
But I remembered it.
That's great. Yeah. So, this isn't, I guess this isn't like, anything new that I'm saying, but it's hard to be a creator. And I'm not just talking about me, the people that try to educate others.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a creator in a volatile field that also is filled with like scams and, and I guess my point is this: if I post a video, which I'm going to post a YouTube video in a couple days explaining Cosmos Atom. It's one of my favorite projects.
I love Cosmos. What's your YouTube? I'll pull it up for everyone.
Oh, it's not too big, but it's the same. It's spelled the same. It's Investedinlife. You can probably find it somewhere on there. But fair warning, my videos have come a long way, but I'm definitely working on the production side of it.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? So, but they're a ton of fun to make. Anyways, it is difficult to. Sorry, that's it right there. You got it.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I subscribed to you already.
Funny.
Sorry.
Oh, cool. Oh, great. No, you're good. So anyways, it's difficult to make educational content that only gets a couple likes or a little bit of interaction when you see someone talk about Dogecoin to $3 and it has, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like this, and it's no, really. I mean, it stings. Yeah. And I don't, like I saw, I don't, I'll have to send you the link after this, but I saw a video of some guy preaching, I swear to you, it was Dogecoin to $3,000 with like by this summer. And I was like, I need to, and there was no explanation. He just kept like saying this and showing this like technical analysis that kind of looked like he drew like, crayons.
Elon's going to get us there. Elon's going to get us there.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's really what it was.
People I'm telling you, I saw it too. And people were like living off of that. And then two things I want to say. It got so bad. TikTok had to ban that type of content. TikTok, you can't promote, like you can't say, oh, this token's gonna go $1,000. Not financial advice. I'm telling you, it's gonna go. Like you can't even make content like that anymore. You have to like put words. You have to like do it like in a finesse way. You can't just say it. People were literally saying it. It's going to the moon if you invest now. And then that one video that went viral where the lady talking about Sheeb, she said, look, you put in $5, you get 5 billion tokens. If this thing hits a cent or 10 cents, you're going to have $5 million, $50 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how it works. And that was before people did not know. People would usually use the argument, Bitcoin was $1 at one point. Bitcoin was $1 at one point. People, 10 years, people didn't. Why don't you say that to people that invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, you got to understand now, like not now, but like before then, the thing is tokenomics. You have to understand supply and demand, circulating supply, total supply, utility, use case, all that stuff. There's so much that ties into it in regards of the token actually getting hitting those numbers. So that was the thing that once you start explaining that stuff, though, most people tune out. They don't want to hear that. People want to hear like, no, I want to be. I invested my mortgage into this. I don't want to hear that it's never gonna go to $1.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I can't sell now. It already tanked. So like people get stuck in that loop, and then they try to find the next token, and it's crazy. There's a lot of tokens that come out that are alive for a couple days, and they make a lot of people money, and then it tanks. Look, we're looking at some right now. Safe Floki is up 672%. Elon Hype is up 500%. They're there, and a lot of them are rug pulls. A lot of them you get in, and there are people that have invested way early, and then people FOMO in, and then they pull the rug on you. And it's in an unregulated space. That's what we're gonna have to deal with. And I always tell people, you gotta maneuver your way through the BS. Like that stuff isn't gonna be around in 10, 15 years. That's not what the billionaires are gonna invest in. They're investing into legit fundamental tokens like Ethereum, Avalanche, Near Protocol, Cosmos, like you said. They're investing into things like that, quant, things that are going to be around long term and potentially could change the world. And so what is your sentiment about big corporate money getting into crypto? Like, are you okay with that? Are you against that? What do you think about that moving forward?
It's, it's one of those topics that I have a hard time having. I'll backtrack. So in crypto, I think the worst thing you can do is like have a hill that you die on. If you have an opinion that you are so like you have a death grip on, that's gonna totally wipe you out. And so I guess my opinion on like big money getting into crypto is that like it's gonna happen. Big money recognizes that a lot of these crypto projects are total junk. I mean, they recognize that, but if they just hit the jackpot on some of these fundamental projects, I mean, that's going to make their wealth even bigger. But the problem is they have money to play around with. I mean, they could throw $500,000 into every coin in the top 50 and go to sleep just fine. But if I put $50 into Bitcoin and it tanks overnight, I might not have lunch tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's and it's crazy how much they can move a market. When crypto's not even 2 trillion right now. I think it's a little less. I haven't checked what
1.73.
And I mean, it doesn't, as crazy as it sounds, it doesn't take a lot of money to move a market. It doesn't take a lot of money, coming in or out to move an entire market. And so I don't know. I think the jury is still out on big money. I just think that's something you definitely have to be cautious of when you invest, because narratives are a big deal. You have to follow the big money, or at least have strong conviction with the projects you're invested in. So I don't know. I hope that answers the question.
No, yeah, it does. And I guess what you're saying is like, you can't, like what I would say, like my opinion on that, I agree with you, is I think you can't depend on them. You can't right? You can't just buy and wait for them to get in, like, and just sit there and just like, all right, let's wait for them to get in. Hopefully I'm investing in the quant. I hope that these big money come into quant, and I'm just gonna sit there and wait. You just have to, like you said, be like the word, I can't think of the word. You have to be very I guess positive, or like the word that means you're like, yeah, it's like it's like so early for me. The word where you believe in what you're doing, right? I have to edit this out. What is that word? I can't think of it.
No, you're good. I said conviction earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's similar to that. It's belief. You have to have like belief. You have to have in what you're investing in. Yeah, in regards of the utility. And the big, I feel like it's inevitable that the big money is gonna come in. Right, and you can't invest into everything. Like they're not. I mean, they're gonna invest into a lot of things. And I was gonna say, like Zilliqa pumped. I guess in April. It was in April where Zilliqa blew up, and that was all corporate money. And then it plumped, and then they took their money out. And it was because they announced that they were going into the metaverse. And that's that's literally an example or a taste of what can happen when these big corporate elites get in, when there's no true regulation at this moment in time. And once there is true regulation, over time, the trajectory of the crypto space is going to continue to rise right? From 1 trillion to 2 trillion to 10 trillion, 15 over the course of the next decade or whatever, just like with the stock market and the housing, everything. It's just going to continue to rise. And we're in the point where we're early enough to where we can catch the wave up. But there'll be moments just like a Zilliqa where it'll go from 4 cents, 6, 7 cents to 30 cents and then straight back down to 10, 8 cents. And it's like, well, you got to take profits. Some people don't. Some people will be like, well, at 30 cents, it's going to go to $1. I'm going to keep waiting. And it's like, it's tough. You can never obviously predict the future and time it. But if you kind of zoom out over time, there's going to be new lower floors, right? So like if the floor was at 4 cents, it goes up to 30 cents. The new floor will be like 8 cents, 9 cents, right? That's like the new low. And people will be like, I got in at 4 cents, they're still profiting. But, you know, and it sucks because people sell and people get wrecked because they're like, oh, I should have sold at 30. I'm selling now. I'm still profiting. And then, you know, like a year later, that 9 cents is at like $1.20 now. Like, if you know, and that's the crazy thing about crypto because there's all these scenarios, you know what I mean? And and I was going to say, I wrote it down. It's in the way that the world is right now with inflation and everything like that and how so much money is being printed into the economy. Crypto is something that is one of those places where we have a new place to throw our money into as people our age, right? Where we're not accredited investors. We don't have billions backing us, millions backing us or anything like that. We just have whatever we have and we throw it into a market that can appreciate over time based on our, you know, like you said, our conviction and our research. We have that opportunity where our parents didn't really have this opportunity. Maybe our grandparents, but back then the internet wasn't available to everyone. You couldn't go on Google. Google was in its infancy stages. You couldn't Google how to like, hey, how do I buy this thing? How do I do this? Like you had to know somebody or go to the bank or something like that. What is your opinion on how lucky we are in this moment in time compared to like, you know, 25 years ago, 30 years ago? And what do you recommend people do that who aren't into crypto or have questions about it?
So you know, something that I kind of recognize is I think that each generation to some extent has had a big opportunity. You know, 25 years ago, you know, Amazon was a bookstore and, you know, there was all of these hidden gems inside of that like .com bubble, you know, as that came into play. And like my grandparents and other people's grandparents, they had the whole like, they could buy a house for like, you know, for this week's like
70,000
this week's paycheck. You know what I mean? Like they had that opportunity. So with crypto, I really am. I have strong conviction that this is like our opportunity. And I think 3 years ago, I think the jury would have been out. You could have been like, oh, this might just be. But now, I mean, it's 2022. There's $2 trillion into this. I mean, there is so much money backing these projects. Like this is a real thing. This isn't a money grab anymore. And don't get me wrong, most projects in crypto are junk right now. I mean, they are.
No, it's true.
You know, they are. But I guess I would say two things about if you're new to crypto. You know, I'm going to say what everyone else says. If you're not going to do research into a project, just put your money in Bitcoin and forget about it. Bitcoin is like and again, this is how I see it. Bitcoin is like the S&P 500 of crypto right now, in my opinion. You know, you look at Bitcoin, you see the trends of the market, or you don't, and maybe that'll change over time. But if you don't understand it, just put your money in Bitcoin or don't at all. You know, don't. And crypto is just something that takes time. I mean, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of development to be made in the space. I don't know. I know this is changing topics a little bit, but
no, it's perfect.
I don't think I told you. I'm not sure if I told you before, but I did a like TED Talk, if you know what those are. YouTube. It was a TEDx is what they're called. They let college students speak. It was a ton of fun, but it was over blockchain technology, right? So I talked, and it's going to be posted soon. There's a live stream of it, but in the TEDx speech, I wrote it's about blockchain technology, and I wrote this speech out explaining everything, and I thought it was glorious. And I sat down with my girlfriend to practice this speech, And I could see her eyes like gloss over just how bored she looked and how much she didn't understand about blockchain. And that's fine,
Yeah.
because how can me studying this for 10 months versus her not
Yeah.
knowing anything? I
Yeah.
mean, blockchain is such a hard subject to like swallow. I mean, it's such a hard thing to learn. So I literally tore the whole speech down and just had to write it
Yeah.
from rock bottom. And it's hard. I mean, it is hard to teach blockchain, and it's hard to like move your mindset back to before you knew about crypto and
Yeah.
blockchain, if that makes sense.
Dude, bro, that's literally everything you said. Okay, I had to write them down so I don't forget because it's like early for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go each point. So the first point is you said it takes time, and definitely agree with that, right? Because I had a friend over the weekend, or I think last week, and then over the weekend I helped him out. He texted me. It was like he was my high school quarterback when I was right. He was a friend of mine. I was like, yo, how you doing, man? It's been a while. He's like, hey, what's up? And obviously now I'm a content creator, right? I make TikToks on my Instagram. I'm not, I just post my content. I don't post personal things anymore. I just post all content, like crypto related stuff, and it's promoting my YouTube and Twitter and everything, right? And he's been following me for years, right? So he's like, hey man, I see you're in crypto. I want to get in. And I was like, and I was like, oh, and I've had multiple friends and people do that, and I kind of give them like a little rundown, and then most of them don't stay. They're like, oh, it's too hard, and they change their mind. They don't hit me back up. They move on. He was very persistent, and he's like, what do I do? And I was like, all right, first download Coinbase, watch my YouTube video right here, and then he kept going, and then I was like, download CoinMarketCap, get familiar with the app. And then I started telling him, and I realized, I'm like, man, okay. I was thinking of like, okay, how would I explain this to myself if I wanted to know? Because when I came into crypto, I all I knew was Robinhood and Dogecoin. That was like, whoa, you're an idiot. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, and I didn't even know at the time, you didn't even own those tokens if you bought on Robinhood.
No one knows that. It's crazy.
And I was like, I didn't. And then and when you look back, you're like, wow, I'm so stupid, And then obviously, I'm like, all right. And he was talking about how he has Robinhood. I'm like, don't buy on Robinhood right now. I know they have their wallets, but they're still getting it sent out to people. It's like, don't worry about that. Down Coinbase is the safest place. Those products are there primarily are going to rug you and stuff like that. And he wanted to know more about Meta. He watched my video. He's like, what's MetaMask? I want a MetaMask. I want a trust. I'm like, you got to slow your horses. Like you said, it takes time. I'm like, you can't be super, bug-eyed and all crazy about it. I'm like, people are making money, yes, and there's a lot of people losing money, but the people that are losing money are also have conviction, like you said. They know what's to come because they're dollar cost averaging. They're investing in a long-term project that they believe in, and you're gonna, you do what you can with that, right? So that's the thing where I was explaining to him where I'm like, you have to respect the space. Like I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you everything. I gotta tell you the basics. And the best advice I can give, and I gave, was you have to find your own way of doing your own research. And that's literally like the cliche thing to say in crypto. The two things: do your own research and not financial advice. Those are the two, the two cliche things to say in crypto. And it's literally, you have to find your way of navigating through the space. What do you like? Do you like finance? Do you like gaming? Do you like you said, just invest in the Bitcoin? But and I even told him that just invest in the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the two safest ones I can vouch for without even having to like have you texting me saying, I lost all my money. I'm like, just invest in the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then maybe Avalanche and some other things, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like technical difficulties, you guys. I'm gonna edit this, and you guys will hear a little cut here and there. But I edited some of this podcast because there's like technical difficulties. But yeah, so I was telling him to invest in Avalanche, and it's funny, he just texted me right when this happened, right now, literally. he says, is AMP or GIT good to invest to? I was reading up on them, and it sounds like they are. And I'm like, I say, that's it. You invest, you do your research, and I can give you my opinion on them. Then there we go from there, right? So that's the thing, like you said, it takes time, and you can't dive into the crypto space just knowing everything. And I learned that. I'm like, oh, you come in, and I came in, I was like, okay, Dogecoin did this, so look at Digibyte. Digibyte's 2 cents. It could go to $1. I didn't understand the tokenomics.
Yeah.
You look at Zilliqa, you look at ZRX, you look at things, you're like, oh, look, this thing is like under $1. I was looking for tokens that are under $1. not realizing like they had like VeChain had like a billion token, 10 billion
Yeah.
tokens, 3 billion, 7 billion, right? And VeChain's a good project, but you don't realize that like, yeah, man, you need like 10,000 of those tokens to actually do something. If you're just looking at it from a financial aspect, right? Not from fundamental, not from utility, whatever. And that's like the main thing I take away from that part where you say it takes time. Like you have to get in. Like if you get in, you have to understand that you're not going to become an expert overnight. It's going to take time. And this also parlays back to what I truly remember when I had that first thought bubble that popped. It came back is when your friend told you to get into Bitcoin and stuff, and you said you got in last summer, right?
Yeah.
And fast forward to where you are now, and that was like the same thing with me because I got in. It's gonna be a year for me making content, but I got into crypto January, like mid-January of last year, 2020, 21, and I realized I'm like, okay, as long as you respect the space, you can the knowledge that you will consume in a year, less than a year, like you, like me, and like a lot of people, is something that you can't even fathom when you get into crypto. That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about crypto. Like once you get in, everyone that I've spoken to that actually went that route. Remember that I told you there's 2 routes that went this route. That was like, hey, this is something serious. They've gained so much knowledge that they probably didn't even realize that they could gain this type of knowledge in this field. And how you were talking about to the TEDx and your girlfriend and blockchain, how she was just like, okay, like a lot of people are like that. The ones that get crypto that are like truly enamored by it, it's like a switch that flicks, and then it's like,
it is.
And then I don't know if you were the same. I gave up so much stuff that I normally would do to focus on crypto. Like, I stopped gaming as much. I stopped consuming Netflix. I stopped doing watching stupid things that had, like going on Instagram and seeing news articles of funny things that happen, like things that happen. I stopped in sports. I gave up football, watching football, basketball. Like I watch highlights and stuff, but I used to consume it. Like I used to watch it and religiously, like, when's the schedule? When's the game? What time is it at? Like that was like my time. I gave all that up, and you realize how much hours you have left
in a day.
Yeah, when you take all that junk out and replace it with crypto. And there's people obviously that have been in since 2016, 2017, 2015, right? They're in it, they're doing it. You can catch up to their knowledge because you are respecting space and providing your time to it. And in 10 months, the knowledge that you consume is equal to what someone consumed in like 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about that? Like, were you like that? How was your experience when you got into crypto? Like, what did you get obsessed?
I'll tell you that, no, really. So I started, like I said, been doing finance stuff for 2 years. I started the TikTok page about a year ago.
Yeah.
I did some stock stuff because I like stocks and I understood that. I would say well enough to try to help others or teach others. But with crypto, it was like, the crypto space is tough because you have to recognize that, in a sense, no one knows. I mean, no one has a glass orb. No one can see into the future, and no one knows where this space is heading exactly. And so to make content, on TikTok about crypto, I wanted to share my journey, but I can't tell you how many hours I've spent. I would say 4 or 5 hours a day, more than that, just listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and like podcasts like this and just finding the right people to listen to. But once you do, you get hooked. Yeah. And, I stopped but it was a good kind of hobby, a good kind of passion, because I stopped, just watching TV as much and scrolling on Instagram and just kind of mindlessly, taking
wasting
up my time. But And, but I think it's important to, I think it's important to learn, but it's also important to, there are some people out there that like this consumes them completely. And it's, you got to understand that at the end of the day, it's just money. There's a lot more to life than that. And I don't mean to, change the subject, but there really are some people out there that just, put their life savings in and obsess over crypto. And I don't know, there's a fine line between, having a hobby or a passion and then giving your life away for
Yeah.
some, you know,
Too much of anything
so,
is bad. Even too much milk is bad, right? Like too much of anything is like, oh, you drink too much milk and you think milk is good for you or whatever. I mean, some people could argue that they hate milk and they drink almond milk or whatever. Like in this generation, there's so much things that like too much, like you can really go any way, like, and you're right. There's a fine balance, and I've like, figured that out for myself where it's like, okay, I can't. In the beginning, I obsessed over it, and I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. Like, I'm gonna burn myself out. I even take days off of TikTok making content. I used to make videos on YouTube every day. Now I do 3 days a week. Like I'm like, there's a fine balance, and it's like for me personally, I felt like I was late to the party, and I was always trying to
still do.
Yeah, and I was trying to consume as much knowledge. Like, I gotta be able to know what this means, what happens here, and you realize like, hey, we're still kind of early. There's still people that are still talking crap about crypto and laughing at you for being in it. And eventually, like, you guys are all going to be using the blockchain before and without even knowing it. The banks are going to get it. Like, everyone's going to be using it. And everyone's making fun of NFTs. Everyone's making fun of that stuff. That technology is here to stay. It's just like when you pulled up a phone back then and you made a Vine, people have been funny. Like, what are you doing recording yourself? Trying to be funny? Like, and nowadays people are freed themselves from their 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, paying off their student loans, whatever, making content on TikTok. Yeah. Just recording what they do, recording their chef skills or comedic skills. And that's the era that we live in, where there's people that need instant gratification. Obviously, like you were saying earlier, there's people that fake it till they make it. That era is back then when people were doing that on Instagram. Like nowadays, there's people that still fall for that, and I just feel like that's not in regards of how to be successful. That's not how you do it. You know what I mean? And back then, people believed that was how you do it. You fake it till you make it. And nowadays, it's like, man, people want to see authenticity. They want to see who you really are as a person, your journey. And getting to the promised land. But like, this is how I'm doing it, and this is my way. And you want to come along for the ride, come along for the ride. You know what I mean? And nowadays, like, that's like, I see that's where things are heading towards. And people, it's unfortunate, people have taken crypto to that space where it's like fake it till they make it too. And people are like, I've made $1 million overnight. Buy my course or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they do.
People are doing that, and it's part of the game though. Like, right? Everyone has a hustle. Everyone has a way to make their means. Yeah. And you just got to stay true to who you are and do what you think is right. That's the only thing I could say to that. So when it comes to your content, what is your primary focus for your videos and everything like that? What is your goals, and what are you doing with your content? Like, what is your
So when it comes to the content I make, my number one goal is just to be transparent. And I can't tell you how valuable I think that is when I see it in other creators, at least, just being fully transparent. I like to share my, like I said, portfolio. If I at the end of the day, I am 21, I'm a college student. I don't have a lot of money to my name. But I just like sharing my journey. So I guess the goal of my content is to show people that it's okay to it's normal to be in the position I'm in. It's normal to not be a millionaire overnight. It's normal to not be an expert in the space, because I'm not an expert, and I don't think I'll ever be at a point to claim that I'm an expert. But I'm diligent. I like to learn about this space, and I like to share things when I do learn them. And again, I think it just comes to transparency. The content I make, I want it to provide value to others and be fully transparent, because I'm not an expert, and I always have more to learn, more to educate myself about. And I think some people get to a point where they're like, you know what, I'm it. Like, I am the top
I know it
dog.
all.
And I don't think I'll ever be at that point. And I don't want to, because, when you think of yourself in that way, that's when you get burnt. And that's when you become like, that's when you're, a loser.
Yeah, you stunt your own growth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the crypto ceiling is always going to keep rising with new technology, new innovation. There's always something new to learn. And I feel like if you have that mentality in life, you're inevitably just going to keep succeeding or will succeed if you haven't, gotten to that
Yeah.
point yet. Like having that mentality is there's always something more to learn is like the best thing that you can take with you. And especially with crypto, because we're still borderline in the infancy stages, right? We just got DeFi. We have, all these node protocols, DAOs, NFTs, all layer 1s, layer 2s, all these new things that are coming out. Ethereum is not even properly scalable yet, right? It crashed when the Ape Coins launched their NFT platform thing, other side. It crashed. And I was like, Ethereum is a sinking ship, but Ethereum 2.0 will potentially be the savior, right? Ethereum is they're just trying everything out and say, all right, what works and what doesn't work. We'll patch what doesn't work with the new Ethereum 2.0. Ethereum is literally a sinking ship. They're just putting duct tape over the holes. It's like,
no, that's exactly what I said the other day. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's like it's sinking, but people are like, there's obviously it was the first of its kind, and that's why the Ethereum killer, quote unquote, comes out. The Near and Avalanche and Luna and all that, Polygon. How we can help Ethereum? I'm like, Ethereum is going to be fine long term because they have the visions of Ethereum 2.0 being scalable, proof of stake, etc. But as it is right now, gas fees are like $200, $100 to do something on it. And if you have the money, by all means. And how we look moving forward, it's like you said, like we have no idea where it's gonna go. And the fact that if you have that mentality of I don't know, like I'm still like a newbie in this space, right? I consider myself like, hey, I'm still learning, and you speak with confidence, we'll all be fine. And that's why that's like my favorite thing is like respect the space. Like as long as you respect it, it's not gonna hurt you. You'll be fine. Like that's why I wrote down. I was like, crypto, you said, is ever growing. It's never gonna stop growing. Yeah. So like, what are your like long term goals? I know you said you're 21. Like, what are your goals in regards to, like, you want to be like the pilot? You want to continue helping people in finance, crypto, or is it just something that I'm just document my journey and see where it takes me? Is it one of those things?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, being in your 20s, being any age is tough, but being in your 20s is difficult. So yeah, for the longest time, I was dead set on being an airline pilot, being like, Captain Mason Mans. Like that was my whole, I don't know. I just thought it was cool and I like flying. And anyways, it got to a point where, and this might sound odd, but when I fly an airplane, I enjoy work better when I create something. And for me, when I fly from like point A to point B, it's great and it's fun and it's relaxing, but I don't, like, internally, I don't feel like rewarded for that. Like I almost feel like if I were to make a YouTube video, or if I were to, I've kind of looked into like computer programming. If I were to physically build something and I can see, the fruits of my labor, I guess, that almost seems more rewarding to me. So, right now I enjoy the content creation and all that. And, I make a little bit of money off of it. Nothing to, that's going to buy me a house.
No Lambos
whatever,
yet?
But yeah, not quite yet. No. Not until Cosmos takes off. So. But, so I don't know. Right now, I want to be a pilot, but I love making content and just exploring this space. For the first time, this is so weird. For the first time, I'm a waiter at a restaurant, and I was working the other day. This guy comes in, and I was just making small talk with him, and he said, and I wish I got more details, but he said his job is he's a blockchain developer, and that was the first person in real life I've ever met that was a blockchain developer.
How did that conversation come about?
I don't really know. I kind of bumped into him, and he said, "Oh, are you a student in school?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was I don't really know how we got to that point, but it was when he said that, my brain exploded. I was like, "There's no way. You have to be pranking me." But we talked a little bit about blockchain and that, and I don't know. It was just, for me to see a blockchain developer out in the wild, it was like, wow, this space is really growing that much. Because you saw a blockchain developer 6 years ago. Now that probably wasn't even a job 6 years ago, right? Like
it was like exclusive. I think it was. Yeah, it probably wasn't. And if it was, you'd have to be like it was like very exclusive because there's a select amount of people on there, and then there was a lot of cryptos out there that aren't around today too. So a lot of those people lost their jobs, because a lot of those cryptos went to zero when the bear market came.
Yeah, and some, and a lot of those protocols were just like you forked Bitcoin's code.
Yep.
And it was like, well, that
was he like an older gentleman? Was he like 30s?
He was in his, I would
40s?
guess like I don't know, I'd probably guess late 30s.
Okay.
And I wish I talked to him more. I got his email because I said I need to talk to you about this more, but I was super busy at work, so I'll have to get back to you on that though, because that was like the coolest thing ever to me.
Yeah, I have yet to meet a blockchain developer in person. I've spoken with somebody last week from one of these protocols, Hi-Fi Finance, and I was had like a meeting with them, and it's the way they speak is so fast, like.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh. But it's cool though. They're like such cool people. They're just like, it's like, to me, this technology is similar, very similar to the app days when everyone developers, right? When Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, what's like all these app developers were like moving to San Francisco, and they were trying to, hey, if you know how to code and build apps, we want you. Now it's crypto. Hey, if you understand blockchains, we want you. It's like that's like the new crop of the industry, right? The industry, it's the new thing. It's fascinating. It's like so cool because in 5 years from now, what's the next thing? And then from there, it's always something, and now it's like, okay, we don't really care for apps anymore. All the big apps have already been created. There's nothing else to like innovate, and if we do innovate, Facebook's going to buy us, or Google's going to buy us, or buy, not us, but buy or create their own version of it if we don't sell to them.
Yeah.
And it's at that point now, it's monopolized, right? And then now crypto, it's a fair game. It's so early to where we don't have the conglomerates yet. We don't have, Bitcoin's decentralized. Bitcoin's not buying anything. Ethereum is just focused on building their ecosystem and growing, and you can bridge and connect with Ethereum. You'll be fine. They're not going to eat you up, right? Like Google will be like, hey, we like what you're doing. We want to buy you. No, we're not selling to you. All right, well, we'll create our own version of it. Put you out of business.
No, really.
And I'm like, and then you're like, dang. So now in crypto, it's, connectivity. Oh, we like what you do. We want to work with you. We'll bridge with you so you can connect and work with us. They don't just overcome and take it. It's like it's all connectivity. That's why Web 3.0 is going to be amazing. And I want to speak to that is since you're in like finance, I watched a video. One of my good friends of mine made a YouTube video. He was talking about how one of the simplest things in crypto to explain to somebody is the banking.
Yeah, it is.
When you put your money in a bank, they're lending your money out, right? It's not, your money's not there anymore. They only keep like 10% of it, right? That money's being lent out for mortgage, cars, whatever. They're using your money to make more money for them. And when you pull your money out of your bank, it's someone else's money. It's like a fractional reserve. So it's like crazy. And I didn't know that prior to crypto.
Yeah.
So then with crypto, there's protocols where you could supply your money to that protocol and you're lending your money out and you're making the money. These protocols are letting you make the money. Yeah. You're not making the money. You're making the money. In banks, you put your money in, you're not making money. We get like 0.001% every year or whatever, and you're leaving your savings.
Not even, right?
Yeah, and it's like that's the fascinating thing. I'm like, that's why banking industry is scared, and they're going to get into crypto. They have to, or else they're gonna go out. Why would I put my money in the bank when I could put all my money on this platform that pays me 10%, 20% a year?
Yeah, Anchor, right? Like just use Anchor as your bank. Yeah,
Anchor, Aave, Crypto.com. They literally cut the rewards. Nexo, Celsius makes me mad because like a lot of my tokens are on Nexo, and they cut their rewards for new deposits for the U.S. and that's the problem that we're having. Why is the U.S. the only place that's cutting it down? That's the dilemma that we're starting to see here, where it's like, that's how you know they're coming. The big boys, the elite, they're gonna figure out how they can make their money off of it, and they're gonna change it. And that's why I hope the DeFi aspect of crypto stays alive, which I think it will. But how are they going to outlaw? Are they going to make it like, oh, you don't want to go over there? It's a wasteland. It's dangerous over there. They put that stigma in people's minds. So what is your thoughts on in regards of like crypto? Like, do you like DeFi? Do you like that aspect of it? Are you deep into crypto like that? or are you more
No,
so Bitcoin, Ethereum, and
yeah. So, is in the past, like I would say 3 or 4 months, especially, I've really loved DeFi.
yeah,
But I think it's important to recognize that there's a few things. The first is that like a protocol is only as a protocol isn't decentralized if the company behind that protocol fails and the
mm-hmm.
protocol can't like sustain itself, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
if you have a decentralized product and there's a company lead and that company, gets slapped with the lawsuit and the protocol goes down with them, they weren't any better than a bank, because they weren't decentralized and they weren't, and I understand that like these projects and their new stages, like early development, they need someone to guide them, right? Like they
yeah,
need a company to like, get that ship sailing. But once it's on its way, you need the whole point of crypto is to be decentralized. But if you
yes,
have one company that's doing, all the development, or you're depending on one company, that's not
or
decentralized at all.
person,
Yeah.
Phantom.
Or like, yes. Oh, I was just about to say that. Yeah. I bought Phantom 100. It was only $100 worth, but it's worth $30 now. I literally, it was
Yeah,
days before the
yeah.
developer left. Andre Croninger. I
Crone,
don't know.
yeah.
Some
I was like,
Crone,
how do
yeah.
you say that? And it's like, oh, I guess the N is or the J is silent, like
Yeah.
Cronier. But yeah, like you said, you DeFi, he leaves, everyone freaks out, and
Yeah.
he's saying, hey, there's still a development team, they're still there working on it, but like you're the one that created it, and it was your idea, and you
Yeah.
just left. And then people left with him. The people freaked out. I was like, oh, I'm out of Phantom. I'm out of Phantom.
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, do you believe in it? Do I even want to buy that dip? Because I think it's like 30 cents. It dipped all the way down. Like how much?
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
now,
it got nuked. That's what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
Like Phantom got nuked, and it's like, okay, it's rebounding a little bit, but I think it was.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see it today.
60 cents, 67 cents, the lowest. So now it's
Yeah.
at 79 cents. I mean, I think it's a good. If they can rebound, you can easily triple your money, right? If you're investing it into that regard. But people were buying Phantom, look, 348 for the all-time high. People were buying Phantom to use
that's nuts.
their tokens on the protocol. We were in all those DeFi platforms. So we have to like wait and see. But yeah, like you said, you can't a decentralized platform needs to be able to run when the creator isn't there or the team isn't there, right? It needs to be self-sustaining. Right.
And another thing, yeah, I wanted to chip this in too, is that like there's just too many DeFi protocols, just like there's too many cryptos. And I love the innovation, and I love that other projects are trying to become the best project, and I acknowledge that. But I mean, how many of these projects and their 300% APY are sustain? Obviously, they're not sustainable, but I just think that you just got to be so careful in DeFi. You just have to, and like on some chains, we don't need as many dexes as we have. We don't need as many, we just don't need all of these projects. And again, I know this isn't like, life-changing news here, but it'll just be interesting to see how this plays out. And I think that if you are involved in DeFi, you really need to take a look at the project you're investing in, if you're in it long term. But if you're in it for like a week, just to flip some profit,
yeah,
I mean, I guess go crazy. But it's important to recognize. Again, this just comes back to you need to know what you're investing in. You have to, because if you don't,
I agree.
If you don't, you get burnt, and you're like, I hate crypto. When in reality, I mean, you have to take the blame some yourself if you didn't do any research. Like.
I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think about the correlation to last year, right? And I was around people that got burnt buying Safe Moon, Elon Gate, all those tokens. And I remember I was like, I'm saying I bought one of these tokens that I was in early enough where I was in the Discord when there was only like 300 people, and this was before I made content, before everything. And I was like, whoa, I'm in here early. Whoa, this is cool. And then you see the Discord grow from 300 people, 800 people, 1,000 people, 2,000, and you see the price of the token going from where you bought it. Like, oh, I put like $200, 150. I'm like, oh, it's like 800. It's like, and I'm like, this is going to the moon. Like, I was that person for like that month, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling my friends, buy this, we're in early. I got in early. You're gonna be early. It's fine. It's 0.00004 cents, but it's fine. Like, and I got in at point, I 3 zeros under that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you don't realize you're participating in a Ponzi scheme, but you're telling
Yeah.
people, and people were so into the hype. People were putting in money, and then it ends up getting rugged. Like the developer says, hey, we're gonna leave. We're leaving the team with this people. We're out of here. Like, like they try to do a polite rug. They took their liquidity out, and the thing went.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I put more money in, so I ended up putting like $700-800. I saw that thing go to like $8,000, $9,000, go all the way down to like $22. And
nuts.
Granted, it was a $600-700 investment over the course of like a couple weeks, because I kept putting money in, right? And I was like, man, I almost at 10,000, right? And then just to see it out of nowhere overnight, gone. And why does it keep saying that your meeting will end 10 minutes? Like, I don't know why they do that. I gotta cut that out. So
I just got that too.
I don't know why, but basically, that could wreck a lot of people. Like you said, that could ruin a lot of people's mindset in crypto. It almost ruined mine. I was like, no, I'll be fine. I'll make it back. And I remember one of my friends, Dante DeFi, talked about it. I was like, in the crypto space, you can't worry about we're in the Wild West. You have to have the mentality. I'll make it back. It'll be fine. I'll make it back. And I ended up making that back with CRO. I invested in crypto.com early enough to where when it blew up, then I was able to make some of it back. Pretty much all of it back. Yeah, I made all of it back, and then some, right? And
yeah.
With little investments, a couple $100 here, $300 here. I'm not investing thousands into it. I'm investing 200, 300, and turning those into thousands, and just keep doing it, right? And it's not like tens of thousands, like maybe 1,500, 1,200, and that's how everyone's journey is different, and that's why, like you said, it's very dangerous if you just get in head first and not doing any research and not doing anything to protect yourself as best as you can. Like you said, investing in Bitcoin is probably the safest thing until you're comfortable to move off of Bitcoin. You have to understand how the dips make you feel, because some people can't handle red days.
Yeah.
Some people can't. They freak out. I'm like, dude, it's on sale. Like, if you believe in that project, you buy it when it's on sale, right?
Yeah.
And like I was just trying to say, last year, people were getting wrecked left and right with these weird names that had Mars in it, that had Dog in it, that had Elon in it, and then this year, it's more so the high APYs, the nodes, the DAOs. Like, that was where now this time it's like, oh, DeFi is the new meme coin era. Like, do you see that correlation there, where it's like memes then, and then now it's like DeFi? People are getting wrecked in DeFi now, trying to.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the correlation, and something that I try to keep in mind too, and I definitely if you haven't listened to anything in this podcast, for anyone listening, I would take this home with you. If you do your research, on a project and you still don't understand it, or it seems intentionally confusing, it is. It is intentionally written that way. And unfortunately, the space is just, again, filled with people that are trying to get, I like to compare it to the whole housing crisis, right? Yeah. So they had I don't even know, whatever, CDOs and the ABCD, they had all these different types of things, but under all of it was junk. It was these horrible house mortgages, and
2008, right?
So yes, exactly. And so now with crypto, it's like you see, with this node, and then it just goes down, and I don't know, if you don't understand it and it's confusing you, that's not your fault. The most likely it's just a Ponzi, or it's just a rug pull. And
speculation.
There's nothing wrong with recognizing that, right?
Yeah, I fell for both eras of it. The last year was a meme era, and I fell for the high APY DeFi era, where it's like, oh, this is decentralized, this is legit, and I fell for both. And not saying the ones I was in were a rug pull. Essentially, I don't know if they were or not. People say they weren't. Some people say they were. They failed. SafeMoon failed. The only ones left standing really is Sheeb and Dogecoin. That's because they got so overhyped. They got Robinhood. They had it.
And the marketing.
Yeah.
They have good marketing,
You can't knock them for that. And people invest in them. Great. Go ahead. See where it takes you, And hopefully, one day the people use them for payment on Twitter. We don't know, right? that'll be the funniest thing of all. It's like if Dogecoin ends up being one of the ones that would be all right. That's I would kind of just like all right, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we are in the space where it's early enough to where anything can happen, right? And next year there'll be a new fad, right? This year was the DeFi sector. Next year there'll be something new, and it's going on with NFTs right now. People are trying to hype and create this punk, this ape, and they're trying to piggyback off of the blue chips of those that actually made it. And people are buying into those and getting rugged on those, like the Pixelmon. You heard of the Pixelmon?
Oh, I did. Don't worry. Not a big NFT guy, but yeah.
They bought into that, and they released the NFT that's like freaking like an 8th grade like 3D art. Like it's like they promised some glorious NFT for the game and end up being like some Minecraft like
Kevin. That's what they called it.
Kevin. Yeah,
yeah.
And then people got wrecked on that, and it's happening everywhere. There's always going to be scammers. There's going to be great things that come from this space, and then there also is going to be the negative scammers and everything, just like with anything in life. And like like you said, you just if you said that you have to, if you don't know it, it's okay. It's okay to not know it. It's okay to feel left out of the loop, but at least you're trying to pay attention. You're doing better than most people who aren't even. They're worried about what's happening with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, and they're worried about that stuff, and
exactly,
getting political, and and doing all that stuff that they want you to focus on. Yeah, and there's a whole opportunity over here. So one of my last questions is like, I didn't get to ask you. I know you say you like Cosmos, but what is your area in crypto? Like, what do you focus on? Like, what do you like? Do you like DeFi? I know I asked you that already, but like, do you like layer ones? Do you like Bitcoin and Ethereum only? What do you like the most?
Yeah. Me personally, I've definitely dabbled in a little bit of everything. I'm not saying I've been successful, but I've tried.
Trying things out. Yeah, you're trying things out.
I think the biggest thing for me is recognizing that this space is growing faster than anyone can keep up with. Mm-hmm. So what I'm interested in right now might be a different than a month from now. With that being said, what I have a lot of money in, like investment wise, and what I also think has the most potential is going to be layer ones and layer zeros. I probably read about those the most. Just personally because and all these different DLTs, because blockchains technically aren't, they're not the only distributed ledger. Yeah. There's a ton of different systems. And again,
Hashgraph, hypergraph.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to read about them and just understand those more, because at the end of the day, when the dust settles, I think that's what's going to matter more than, honestly, most other things in crypto, in my opinion. I think when the dust settles, it's going to be what DLT handles decentralization the best. So I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. If you ask me in a month, maybe that'll change. But
like layer 2, but it's good. You're expanding. But the thing is, you can always go what you learned and what you like. You can always go back, even if you don't like it anymore. You move on to something new. You can always go back, and then that's the thing about crypto is once you know the technology, it never leaves you. And you're just growing with it. And that's why, and I love that. I love hearing that. It's like you like DLTs, and the next month you may like something like NFTs again. You say you're not in NFTs now, but you might end up liking HBAR more or something like that, right? Yeah. And it's something that is ever growing in this space, and that's why I would say that's like great for someone that's new to or listening to the podcast, whatever, to see, hey, it's okay to try things out. Like you said, all the way from the beginning, if you don't know anything and you want to get into crypto, just buy Bitcoin. buy Bitcoin, put $100 into Bitcoin, and see how that makes you feel when you see your $100 turn to $70. How does that affect you? You have to master that. Once you could master that, seeing at $7, you don't lose sleep on it. I don't even check my portfolio. Like, I don't care. Okay, it's time for me to dollar cost average. Time to buy. Got paid today. All right, what am I going to buy today? Okay, cool. Like, you're not even worried about how the market is affecting you. And like, if you can get through that, you'll be more than ready to deep dive into other parts of crypto, and then slowly and gradually make your way down the top 100, right? And then start seeing like, oh, there's HBAR. Wow, what does HBAR do? Oh, cool. Look at their backing. Wow, and And then look at the tokenomics. You're like, I don't know, I want to invest in HBAR. I mean, can it?
Yeah.
But then there's so many things, right? And people like what they like. And then the XRP, and then there's XLM, and then there's Avalanche. Will Avalanche beat Ethereum? I love, that's my favorite layer one. You know, people like Luna. People like Polkadot, Cosmos. There's so many. Like, you just go down the list. Quant, KDA, and then you just it's just unstoppable. It's just, once you like find that spark in your brain, it'll never leave you. And this thing's gonna end right now, but I want to have like an actual like good ending for this. So I'm gonna pause it. All right, so this podcast had a lot of technical difficulties because of the Zoom thing. They turned the limit down to 40 minutes, so every 40 minutes we had to like stop and restart and stop where we're going. So we're for sure gonna do this again. This is not over. I had like one thing to say, but I forgot what it was. I'm trying to remember, but we definitely have to do this again. This was a great conversation.
Yeah.
But one question I have is, what is your advice to anyone that's new and listening now, their first time thinking about getting into crypto? Like, what, I know you probably already said it earlier, but like, just to reiterate, what is your advice to someone, not financial advice? I love that when you say not financial advice and you proceed to give financial advice. But this is life advice, because your name, Invested in Life. Like, what is your life advice for someone that wants to get into crypto or thinking about it?
Yeah. So, I'll try to make this as simple as possible. At the end of the day, I'll tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, you're in the right spot. When you find creators like this that try to give you value, try to educate you, that is when you'll be in the best position. You'll grow as a person, you'll learn as an investor, and you'll build wealth. When you put $100 into SafeMoon and it turns into 200 overnight, you might have troubles cashing it out. Well, maybe not, but with coins like this, there might be liquidity problems, or there might be. My point is you want to build genuine wealth, and the best way to do that is just be patient. You want to surround yourself with the best content creators you can, and one of the biggest things is setting goals. You need to have investment goals. You need to understand, hey, am I like a crypto addict? Am I going to study this hours a day? Or do I just want to invest in a couple coins and see where it takes me in 10 years? If you don't have goals, you're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're not going to make money without goals, because you're not going to know when to take profits. So pick out good content creators. Continue to educate yourself. Be patient with yourself. Understand that you are still early, and even if you don't feel like you're early, there's still a lot of opportunity to make money. And again, it's a long journey. It's baby steps, and I enjoy the ride. At the end of the day, it's a fun, it's a revolutionary area to be in, and enjoy the ride. And
that's the best thing I can say. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Be around like-minded people that kind of have the same alignment as you. Like your buddy at Costco, that he was trying to get you.
He was.
He was trying to
help me.
Hey, come on. It turned on for me. I could, you know what I mean? And that's, you need more of that, and there's going to be people out there that just don't want to hear it. They're just, hey, what are we doing this weekend? Hey, did you see like the game last night? That's going to happen. And I don't know if you dealt with this, but I was like, man, I have to slow down. Like, it's not like I cut them off. It's just I had to slow down I had to value me and what I wanted more so than catering to my friends. That's a good way of wording it. And it's nothing against friends, even if they're friends, family members, people you've known for 10 years plus. It's nothing against them or anything. It's the fact that, hey, I have to value myself. This is an opportunity that I see here. And whether or not you try to expose to them of that opportunity and they don't want to gravitate toward it, it's okay and healthy to say, hey, I'm putting me first, because this is something that I see that I have to go all in on. That's how I feel about crypto. Not all in to where it's like every minute of my life is crypto, but my priorities are going to be shifted around. Like, if I could spend $100 to go out on a Saturday night, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to spend $100 into investing in buying an Avalanche or a Quant or crypto.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. That's where I'm at in my life, where I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I did that already, and they have to understand, like, that's who you are as a person now. It's okay to change. And then if they don't want to align with you like that, it's okay to say, hey, we'll keep in touch. You know, it's not like hey, we're not friends anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, we'll keep in touch. I'll see, you know, and you have to find people that are in the same situation that can have conversations like what we're having. You know, like you and I are having this conversation. These are the type of conversations I want to have nowadays. You know,
Exactly. Me too. Yeah.
I love these type of conversations. I can talk about stuff all day. And back then, I used to spend all day arguing, debating about who this team should have drafted and who.
Yeah.
It's like, what does that take you? We're arguing on Twitter about this and that. And I see it every day. You go on Instagram, look at the comments. You go on Twitter, look at the replies. You see people just arguing over nonsense and opinions and stuff. And I'm like, let me go argue about crypto over here. Like, well, this token's better.
Yeah.
That's the type of conversation because at the end of the day, you're learning something new that's actually something that you can invest in. You can see a project that you didn't even know existed or you didn't like, and then someone brings you an article that showcases, wow, this thing's tied into this crypto that I like. I like that crypto, and you invest into it. That's the beauty of it, to where you can learn something new even when you're arguing with somebody because they'll either give you some facts or something. It's like all healthy debates, and I'm like I agree with you that like it's enjoy the ride, and there's going to be some sacrifices that need to be made if you really want to take it serious.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you really
go ahead. Yeah. No, I was just going to say, you know, one of the biggest things crypto taught me is to value the time you have. You know, time is the only like asset. I don't like to call it an asset, but it's the only thing you won't get back.
Something we created.
No, but yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, time's the only thing you won't get back. So understand what it is that you want out of your 24 hours in a day. You know, obviously you got to sleep, but you know, I mean, I could sit here and I could have laid in bed all day and watched Netflix, but instead I'm having a great conversation, and I guess I value that a lot more. And maybe tonight I'll go out to eat with a couple friends, but
that's healthy.
I just put more value behind my time is one of the biggest things crypto taught me. So
that's beautiful because you put more value into your time, the priorities. You see, and back then, I would go hang out. I hit my friends and hang out with them all day and go to the dinner. It'd be an all day thing, and it's great. Those are the moments that you cherish and stuff. Like we're not kids anymore, or whatever the case may be. People can argue, and it's like I'm setting myself up for freedom in the next 5 to 10 years as this market cap goes from 1.72 trillion to 10 to 20 trillion dollars. 10 to 20 it's like it's funny, like the tongue twister. 10 to 20 trillion dollars, and we're in it early enough to where our price appreciation will, and you can do whatever you want with your time. You'll have your time back fully, and that time can be used for anything. You can help invest into your friends' ideas, and that's when you can be an asset in life to the people around you, and that's how I look at it, where I'm like, man, it's just a lot of sacrifice that I'm making now to where, my friends, want to go out, but I'm like, hey, I want to stay low key. I want to save my money. I want to invest in this. I want to research this. I want to, I need alone time. I think about crypto all the time. I want, and it's okay sometimes to go out with your friends and enjoy yourself, whatever the case may be, because we got to live. You can't just consume, sit in the room all day and just look at a TV monitor and all day. I get that, And it's just cool how seeing different perspective of, like you said, people are making sacrifices and doing side hustles, side gigs, trying to figure out how to get more capital to invest into this space. And there's just some people out there that I have some in my circle that don't even take it serious. They think it's a joke. They're like, what is, like, I'm not into it. And you tell them, you're like, all right, you're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. And it's like, you can't help those people. You can't help them unless they help themselves, and they want to keep going that route. You just, you got to go your route. You can't sit there and wait for them trying to pull them over. Like they'll hopefully meet up with you in the future, or wherever the case, the path may cross and they, get on the board. But, I know that this podcast had a lot of technical audio and video difficulties. I'm gonna clean up as best I can. I think it'll be fine. But yeah, man, I really, really appreciate you for coming on. You are, for your age, you have a lot of wisdom, and I think you're gonna be very successful moving forward because you're in the right direction. You're going in the right direction. Because when I was 21, I'm 29. So, but people always freak out when I tell them that. They're like, you're 29, they're like 24. And I'm like, yeah, because I guess I have like a youthful soul. But when it comes to crypto, I feel like age doesn't apply. There's like 16, 17-year-olds that are just like, You know what I mean? You didn't even know how old they were. You thought they were 20, 28.
A lot smarter than I am too.
Yeah, and they're like, oh shoot, like I learned from you. You know, I don't care. I'm a sponge. Like I learn from everyone and everything. I don't look at age. I don't look at like, oh, someone that's 24 years old and like I'm not listening. I don't think like that. I think like, hey, who are you as a person? Not your age doesn't define who you are, because everyone has experiences in life that you can't ever know until you talk to them, and you've seen things and been around things that I have never been around, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So being exposed to people, and that's the thing I love about crypto, is you remove the aspect of gender, race, age out of it. It's who you are as a person. What do you like? And you go from there. And that's the beautiful part of crypto, because people don't, it's a blockchain. It's like this wallet, this money came from this wallet to this wallet. You don't know who it is. But it happened. Yeah, but it happened. And that's the beauty of it. Like being around people, Crypto Aaron, I had on Sage, I had on so many people I never would ever be able to meet until crypto came around. And that's the beautiful part of it. And I think that you're someone that has a lot of wisdom for your age, and you're going to continue to thrive. And your TikTok is doing well, and it's only a matter of time before you start following them into your other platforms. And I'm gonna do my best to shout you out on the Discord and Twitter and everything to help you catapult your other platforms. And it's pretty cool to be a part of this space, and can't wait to have you back on again. I don't know if you have any closing things to say or.
I just, thanks for having me. We did have a couple of technical difficulties, but I'm sure it'll be great. I thought it was a really valuable conversation for anyone listening out there. I think you're in the right spots, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And I'm really looking forward to being on again when we catch up. So yeah, thanks again for having me, and I really appreciate it. So
all right, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.